Hello everyone, here's another video for the day. Today you would be listening about strategies for reducing construction waste. The need for construction is ever increasing and runs all around the globe. Factors such as increasing urbanization is ultimately booming construction. Be it residential, business sites or commercial plazas, the volume output is expected to grow by 85%, that is $15.5 trillion by 2030. Worth to note that construction and demolition activities account for a large proportion of materials used and waste generated. The figures can be: firstly, in the mid-1990s in Britain, the construction industry used over 250 million tons of crushed rock and gravel, nearly 3.5 million tons of metals, about 500,000 tons of polymer, and nearly 4 million cubic meters of timber. Secondly, in the 1990s, 10 million tons of post-industrial waste was generated by construction process, and around 30 million tons of material arose from demolition. Later in Britain, about a decade ago or so, over 3.5 billion new bricks were used each year. Around 2.5 billion were knocked down in the demolition of buildings, out of which only 140 million were salvaged and reused. The remaining were consigned to landfills. Affirmed and agreed, but so what? All this indicates development for sure, but do we notice that while moving forward, we leave behind heaps of construction and demolition waste? On a global scale, over half of world's population has no access to steady collection of trash. Over 40% of world's waste are held by illegal dump sites. The construction rubbish not only consists toxic materials such as lead, asbestos, etc., but are also harmful to environment, humans, and as well as animals. It is worth realizing that it costs a fortune to process, produce, or purchase heavy-duty construction materials, and hence it is obvious that waste not saves a lot. We have all these enormous problems that leads us to questions like how to solve it, what materials to consider. Are construction practices helping to tackle all the problems? And finally, is this all economical? And so, here we present some practices for waste management. Construction and demolition waste management can be broadly divided into three categories. First is material optimization, second is material selection, and third is on-site management of waste. Starting with material optimization, it majorly focuses on reducing usage and thus waste. This can be done in the following ways. Source reduction, that includes preservation of existing structures and adaptive reuse. Also, building flexible spaces that perform multiple functions and thus less built-up is required. The example could be a working space that is also used for recreational and as well as a meeting space or a studio. Designing structural systems that use less material for the same performance. Example could be a brace frames instead of moment frames. Choosing finishes that serve multiple functions, such as a pin board that also serves as an acoustical board, as well as structural materials that may not require finishes. Next is working in shearing layers and designing to allow removal of short span layers without disturbing the long-lasting ones. Then comes material selection that focuses on reusing, which includes using reclaimed components like kitchens, doors, etc. along with reclaimed materials. And another is materials that can be recycled and reused in a continuous closed loop. Wood cutoffs can be used for cripples, lintels, and blocking to eliminate the need to cut full-length lumber. Scrap wood can be chipped on site and used as mulch or ground cover. Depapered and crushed gypsum can be used in moderate quantities as a soil amendment. Brick, concrete and masonry can be recycled on site as fill, subbase material or a driveway bedding. Excess insulation from exterior walls can be used in interior walls as noise deadening material. Paint can be remixed and used in garage or storage areas as a primer coat on the other jobs. Packaging materials can be returned to suppliers for reuse. Asphalt, concrete and rubble are often recycled into aggregate or new asphalt and concrete products. Wood can be recycled into engineered wood products like furniture as well as mulch, compost and other products. Metals including steel, copper and brass are also valuable commodities to recycle. Enforcing the following strategies can help in on-site waste management. That could include checking and cross-checking on the material requirements to prevent over-ordering and arrangement of take-back for surplus. Ensure proper storage to prevent damage, segregating recyclable and salvageable from one which will have to be disposed of. Latter can be diverted to next use programs such as fuel, aggregate and manufactured products, etc. Deconstruction to salvage usable materials significantly cuts material needs and waste. Conclusively, all the above mentioned strategies can help us in tackling 35% of construction and demolition waste that goes into landfills. With the right awareness to reduce, recycle and reuse, provision of collection and recycling points, and the newer and better techniques to reuse construction materials, sustainable management of construction waste can become a reality. Thank you for listening till all the solutions that could be implemented. Show us some appreciation by gently smashing the like button and to note, subscribe us to watch more such videos.